told anybody. The only two people that knows this, my mother and my husband. Yeah, how I lost my virginity. My mother took the virginity from me, and this is what happened. But before I explain what happened, before I tell the story, yeah, I don't care if you judge me or not. I know a lot of you will start saying, she's your mother. No matter what, she carried you for 9 months. If she hated you, she would have removed you. I wish she actually removed me then because what I went through, I don't understand. And up to today, I don't still understand. So if you want to judge me, judge me. I have daughters, I have children that I don't even know. I need to train them right. I don't want to end up like my mother. I don't want to do to them what my mother did to me. Do you understand? I can't even scold my daughter even when she's wrong. Every time I try to scold her, I have this fear. I have this anxiety. If I spank her, I have to go and beg her. I have to tell her, I'm sorry, give me a hug because I don't want to be like my mother. So if you want to judge me, please, by all means, go ahead and judge me. I don't care. Everybody's saying, don't share your story. Don't talk. Don't talk. You hurt your mother. How will she feel? How will the community see her? This and that. What of the daughter? What of me? What of that inner child that wants to heal? You don't understand. Okay, let me tell you the story.
All right. So before Angela proceeds to sharing her second part of her story, I would like you to start processing this while you listen to her, because I hope that you leave us with a kind of inspiring comment in the comment section after watching this, because we are all learning. The purpose of sharing this is not about sharing to get the views. It's for us to drive a lesson, drive a point. What are we learning from this? Now, the question I want to pose to you now is this. Are some of these authoritarian, structures of punishing children in some African homes, do they actually make children better when they grow up into adulthood? Have it at the back of your mind. Let's listen to Angela. Moreover, as we go on listening to Angela, I'll be talking about the impacts or effects of this authoritarian, strict pattern of upbringing to a child, relating it to Angela's story. So let's go on and listen to her.
So growing up, I've always liked boys. No doubt. I've always liked boys. I never liked the company of girls. I've always wanted to be around boys. I just don't know. But I've always wanted to be around boys. And us millennials, growing up back then, you realize that, you remember that whenever you are always navigating towards boys, your mother will automatically think that they will impregnate you. Aya, tobagia female bookie, iye buta female, chukwa iye, kwetami iye buta female, wound, all those kind of things. And then, even at that, a lot of people still got pregnant at that period. But so, they were getting reports about me that I was always doing boys, I was always visiting boys, and quite all right. I had one male friend then, my age mate. He had sisters too, they were the same age grade with me. So sometimes they'll send me on an errand, I'll branch to their house. I was 14. Yeah. So one time, she heard the report, I think from one of my siblings, that I had gone there. And then when I came back, she asked me what the boy and I did. I explained to her, see what we did. We were just watching television and we were just, nothing else. We were talking, watching. She said, it's not true that the boy touched. I said, no. The next thing, he was slapped me, I said nothing, and then I was trying to wage when she tries to hit me, I will wage it. When she tries, so she started holding her hand. She said, you are fighting me. You are this, oh my God, so you have grown to the age of your father. Let your father come back. I will tell, I started thinking, what did I do? Then when my father came back, I don't know what she told my father. She escalated the whole thing, told my father that I had slept with the boy, this and that. I had not. I did not do anything with the boy. The next thing, both of them. My father was, if you see the punch, the kind of, like, you cannot give a 14-year-old child that kind of, it was all my upper court, everything. Then I fell backwards. I couldn't hold myself. And the next thing, she asked.
Sorry to cut in, guys. Heavy physical discipline was one of the ways by which some of our parents in the past punish misbehavior in their children by using physical objects and a whole lot of, physical efforts to punish their children. And this was good in the past, but why is Angela recalling all of this? This is to tell you that physical punishment is not only a way of bringing up a child. It can also be an abuse, especially when it causes physical injury or sometimes leaves a kind of deep trauma in the life of that child. This is what Angela is currently saying?
Started trying to, I said, okay. She was pushing me to talk. I started thinking, because then I was reading a lot of News and Bones, right? I hadn't had sex before, but at least I knew what it was about. I knew how they do it. So I started explaining to her. I told her, okay, no, the boy just told me to lie down. I lied, the boy now stayed on top of me. She said, the boy remove your pants. I said, no. She said, straight. But okay, yes, remove my pants. And she told me to remove it as the boy did. I had to pull, because I was wearing a gown, so I had to pull off my gown, and I was wearing a dress, and I removed my pants. I said like this. She said, I spread your leg. I opened my leg. And then I tried to struggle. My father placed his leg on top of my chest. I couldn't move. And the next thing, she went into the kitchen. She brought same Cameroon pepper, mixed it with kerosene. So I was breathing myself. I closed my eyes. I thought she was going to pour it on my face, because I was already getting used to the kerosene on the nose, on the face. The next thing she did, prior to that, she was always putting pepper on my private, but on the surface. She had never gone deeper, always on the surface. So, but I didn't expect it that day. So I was closing my mouth, and then she stood in between my leg and opened it, and then went on her knees. Like, she went on her knees. My father's leg was on my chest, holding me down. And then she took the pepper and the kerosene. And then she took it, put her hand. I was screaming for help. I was screaming. I looked up. I saw my other sister standing, like folding her hands, standing and looking at me. My siblings all gathered. And they were staring at me. My mom and she was I started feeling pain. And then she went stiff and she broke my hymen. And she put her hands, like she inserted her hands so deep into my vagina. And then the pain made me numb. All the pain, all the blood, all the things on my face, I wasn't feeling those ones. I started feeling, it was so painful.
Fear-based obedience. Some of our parents in the past, they used fear-based obedience. I'm sharing this, even some people in Africa are still doing this. We compel children to be scared, instead of respecting you, they adhere because they are trying to avoid pain, physical pain that you could cause them. They could even succumb to saying yes to what they did not do. It's called fear-based obedience. Compliance because of fear. It happened in this very context. Angela said yes to having something with a boy she never slept with, because she didn't want. Yes, she thought that could have saved her from being physically, manhandled. Unfortunately, that did not save her. What did that do to her? It got her the worst, losing her virginity in the hands of a woman that brought her into this earth. I'm sorry, I don't want to use that word, in a very cruel way. This is more than RAP, complete it. Fear-based obedience, fear-based compliance.
That's I only heard my younger brother, my immediate younger brother. I still remember his voice when he said, you people wanna live this girl, it's too much, you people wanna live her. And then my mother like showed him to get out of here because he was small, he's my immediate younger brother. And they were all watching. She kept putting the hands, she wanted the kerosene and the Cameroon pepper to enter. I don't know if she wanted to put it inside my womb, but she kept putting. She knew. When she put her hands, she knew that I was still a virgin. She knew that what she was accusing me of, I didn't do it. She could have stopped at that moment, but she did not. She continued going. I felt the fingers, I felt everything. And when they finished, they left me there. And I remember just laying down there telling myself, God, I hate this woman. God, come and take my life.
That was a pure suppression of voice and emotion. It's a pattern our African parents used in the past. No answering back to their authorities. No answering back to whatever they said to us. Because they viewed that as an automatic disrespect and rebelliousness. Yes, when you respond back to your African parents in those years. This played out in Angela's story. Here, the parents never listened to her. They suppressed her feelings. They suppressed her emotions. Guess what? The siblings, like she stated, they watched. And the brother summoned the courage to say something. You guys are going to unalive this girl. And what did they do? They shut him up. They made him voiceless. Now let me know in the comment section, if this had played out in a Western country, what could have happened? What role do you think the siblings, Angela's siblings, could have played while their parents were handling Angela? Do you think that they could have just stood there and watched the movie like that without one of them reacting or phoning the authorities? Let me know in the comments.
I did. I called her. She went and washed her hand. And she passed and called me Ozu Nawambo, which means dead body and the carrier of dead body. And then I looked at her. I told her, I just feel like unaliving myself. And she looked at me and said, go ahead, unalive yourself. I brought you into this world. If you buy, I will bury you. In Igbo, she said, these were her words. Jem wanu now, after all, I'm see. I gave birth to 6 of you, so if you go, I will not feed you. And I laid down there and I said, yeah, that I did not sleep with anybody. I didn't sleep with anybody. She took it.
This is a total dismissal of feelings, ignoring child's emotional distress or perspective, just for the concept that a child should always be seen and not heard, that a child is voiceless. Most African parents are still doing this up to today. Yes, she cried out, I feel like unaliving myself. Did you hear her mother's response? Like she stated, if you buy, I bury you. After all, I have 6 of you. So she has others to replace her, causing more pain to her injury. So if you do this, if you still do this, respond to your child or your children in this pattern, when they are in pain, they cried out, they say something. Even if you don't know what to say, don't use all these harsh expressions that we use. Yes, Igbos, we are used to that. Non-Igbos might be saying that because Nigerians were usually too quick to respond. If you buy, I bury you. Especially when a child is crying and saying something, we don't listen. I am one of the luckiest child on earth because I had this kind of upbringing where I had to dialogue. Yes, my parents are no more. Blessed memories. They did their job perfectly well. My brothers and my sisters, they took over. My senior bros would always, if I would run away from him because every time he would sit you down and talk. You dress anyhow, he calls you, he sits you down, and he tells you how a girl should sit properly, how a girl should dress, a man, how you should do this, how you should. So it was a kind of dialogue. The only dirty slap I had was from my second elder brother, the one that trained me here. He will be watching this video. He gave me one dirty slap that I saw stars flying out in their real, shapes. What did I do? I was standing and chatting with a boy right at the front of our house those years. I was in secondary school. He came and slapped me. He might not remember this. I know he will laugh watching this. He was trying to protect me. Elder brothers, the way they protect their sibs in those years. So African parents, especially those in Africa and even in diaspora, we should learn to listen to our children. We should learn to dialogue with our children. We should learn to have their own perspective and see how to balance things. Children can not only be seen, they can also be heard.
I have 2 other sisters. She didn't. Okay, yes, I was stubborn. In fact, I was the most stubborn child on earth. No problem. I accept it for years. I lived with this guilt. I was so guilty. I was so ashamed of myself.
Now, from what Angela has said, I don't know if you are still wondering if the strict authoritarian pattern of upbringing most African homes have in place in the name of bringing up their child, if it still makes children better. Maybe we should hear from Angela. She should be in a better place to tell us because she experienced this. Let's hear from her first.
And after that, the funny thing is that they said they were training me. I became the wildest. I became a wild cat. I started running out of the house. Sometimes I'll run away from home and they'll bring me back. I did a lot of unimaginable things because I told myself, what is left? She took the virginity from me. What more? What more? I've tried to talk to her about this so many times. I've tried to call her. I've tried to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk about it. Each time I bring it up, she'll say, "Oh, Zukana Zogo, that she trained me, that she made me who I am." I said, "She didn't make me who I am. You messed me up. You messed me up. You completely destroyed me. You broke me." Because everybody will say, maybe you were stubborn, you deserve the treatment. I accept I was stubborn, maybe I deserve the treatment. But what happened after I grew, after I became an adult? What now happened? What now happened? Let me tell you.
Anyway, guys, we've heard it all from Angela. This should serve as a lesson to most of us African mothers who believe that strict parental upbringing is the best way to bring up a child. You might be causing some kind of harm, indelible mark, deep trauma in the life of your young child growing up. Children, they never forget. And this is something that they're going to live on with as they grow up. When Angela was introducing her video, she made one statement that pierced my heart. I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to end up like my mother. You can imagine your own child saying things like this about you, that they don't want to be like you, when a mother is generally expected to be a role model to their own child. And now that same child is grown up and still saying at this adulthood that they don't want to be like their mother. I don't want to be. How does that make you feel? And even now, as a grown-up child, the love and care is not there. You cannot learn left-handedness in old age. You have to start it from the beginning. Children, they don't forget. Most of us would talk and make references to, my mother used to say, my mother used to do that, my daddy used to. Yes, this was ages ago when we were growing up. So we mothers, whatever we do today, fathers, whatever we do today, our children are learning. They have something to make reference to. While they were growing up, my mother said this, my father did this. If we can be thinking about things like this, we should be cautious with our children. And remember that they should not only be seen, but be heard, to avoid this kind of, traumatic experience, childhood experience that Angela went through. It's not just that she's sharing her story. She's putting it out there for a lot of us to learn. I have one comment in the first video I made about Angela. If you haven't seen it, go see that comment. Let me just quickly read it. I know this video has become so long, but permit me to read it out. This is same person who went through the same thing. Okay, let me go straight. I am Angela. I am a black sheep. I was called different names. My other siblings went to boarding school. Secondary school. I was at home going to a government school, while my siblings went to a federal government school in different states. When I gained admission to the university, my father took me to a stranger that I should stay in his house. This is a girl talking. And your father took you to a stranger. The father took her to a stranger. You took your girl daughter to a stranger, a male, to stay with. That was in Uniben. I got pregnant. I had 5 abortions. A father took his own daughter to stay with a man. Maybe flatmate, roommate, I don't know. And she had 5 abortions while still in the university. Hey! 5 abortions, because my father was not there for me. Let me call this story. When he was ill, I was the only person around him. The others were in school. Can you imagine, after being treated like that by your own father? And now the father was done. She was the one looking after him. What kind of prayer do you think that this lady would be praying for the dad? At that point, the father was sick. Positive prayer or negative prayer? I don't want to say that, you know, the others were in school. It's well. Why I aborted my pregnancies was because my late father was a cultist and he was looking for Lord. I do see my babies crying. I explained to them, today I am happily married with a set of twin boys. My sister, I wrote to you anyway. Yes. But I am happy that you have overcome this and you are living beyond it, happily married and living your life. You know, you must have shared your stories to a lot of people, but that notwithstanding, I hope you heal or you have healed. You know, yes, may God grant you a happy life as well. So, guys, let me know in the comment section if all these our strict authoritarian kind of parenting, if it adds up to the life of our children. Did you gain from this kind of harsh parental upbringing? Yeah. Does it add anything positive to your lifestyle as an adult? Does it make you shrink into your person? You know, because another impact of this is that it makes children not to be good advocates. They can't stand up for themselves. They are always hiding in fears. They can't speak up in fear of, you know, how they will be questioned or looked at, because at home they don't have the minds of their own. Their parents are always, you know, shutting them down, shutting them up. So when they go out in public, they cannot even speak. How sad. Thank you once again for watching. We wish Angela all the best, and thank you for sharing your story. This will also help a lot of parents who are in this to at least refrain from doing this. Bye for now.